Hey guys, Justin here. Quick note, this will be a second lap, hot lap, and then the track conditions are kind of wonky here, so expect my actual lap time to be maybe half a tenth to a tenth slower than this, but that's okay. I'll explain it more later. All right, let's take a look at that. So there's a caveat to this lap. I wish I had a better executed lap from a race session, but for some reason the test sessions can get this cloudy condition that just adds a little bit of time, maybe like half a tenth. So this is the best executed that I ran, and unfortunately it's probably a little faster than what I could expect from a race with the sun's out. Maybe there will be races with the clouds out for qualifying, but that's okay. So I'm just going to show you the lines here. So 3 and 4 on first lap. So it's going to be a second lap, hot lap. We want to enter as close to the wall as possible, a little bit slow enough to where you know you won't slide up no matter what. And then what we're going to be doing is just getting off the throttle. And then once the car starts to rotate, we just get on the throttle and rodeo it across the top. If you get out of the gas too much at this point, you will go straight into the wall. So you really got to hold it on the edge of loose. But if I also cut down a little bit on the exit because, man, the exit of 3 and 4 comes really quickly. So I kind of just like to cut it just a little bit. Okay, so that's how I get my run. We're going to go for no super duper cut coming to the line. And I'm not even cutting the apron that much. I cut a little bit. And then we're going to go all the way to the outside here. So we're going to rip the top of 1 and 2. So in my farmer's guide, I actually recommended people run the bottom in both corners. And I think that the bottom is okay, but there's just a little more to be had up top. It is a little more challenging. So if you want to try a challenging line up top, excuse me, and if you want to try a little bit easier but a little slower line, run the bottom here. So running the top, we get full out of the gas once we go over the hump of the banking. So full out of the gas for an instant, and then we instantly bring it back to like 2/3. And then we get to 100% as quick as we can, and the car will start rotating on its own. So it's very important. The car does not get loose and rotate on its own unless you get full out of the gas and then back in. I mean, you can get to half and back in, but you'd have to hold that half for a little longer. It's kind of hard to explain. I just recommend for simplicity, just get full out and then straight back into partial. Okay. So we did good there. Get a good run. Everything else in this corner is literally just reacting with the wheel to when the car gets loose, and it will get loose. So just kind of keeping it along the seam here, not straying too close to the wall. That's all you really need to do. Okay. 3 and 4. Again, multiple lines you can take. The top is slower and, in my opinion, a little harder than the bottom. The bottom is pretty difficult though, so we'll go over this. So I like to get a big arc into this corner. See, from the wall and then down to here. And you're not gonna quite make the bottom usually. And you don't always wanna quite make the bottom. So what I do is I get full out of the gas for an instant and then get back in. This motion again will get the car to rotate. It'll get the car on the right rear. This is how we get the car on the right rear. Full out and then partial back in. And then we just hold that partial until the car makes its looseness start over-rotating the car. And then once we get that slight over-rotation, then we go full throttle and we try to drive it straight up to the wall. All right, so I'll talk through that one more time. So we go full out. So we start turning down the track. Once we're about a lane down, we go full out. And then back into partial, drive it to the white. We'll slowly lift it. And then when we can start unloading the wheel, when we unload the wheel, the throttle goes to max. And if you do this too early, you don't have the room to slide to the wall, so you have to make sure that you don't get on the throttle too early, even if it does feel like you can. And that's all about timing. Practice that. And then again, we'll just cut down to the grass here. And that should be our lap. All right, so I'm recording this after the fact. I did 3 races, had a really bad day, wrecked in the first 2, wasn't feeling much speed. And then I did okay in the 3rd race, so we'll talk through that. Feeling like I improved some, so we'll see what I learned. All right, it's been a rough day. I got wrecked the first 2 races and bad qualifying the first 2 races and a whole lot of everything. But we finally did the 3rd hour and we got 2nd. It was a good race. I got a couple things to show you. I had a chance here. We'll actually get to go over that later. So I want to show you guys the saving line because I did a good job of saving for the first half. I think I started pushing a little too early. So let's just go over what the saving line is, and I would recommend you do this for about 25 laps. So you can do a couple variants of this. I enter shallow just because it's an easier reminder for me to let off early. You don't have to do that. And it's also not worth any time here or there, really. Maybe it's a little faster to arc it, but that's okay. You can see Scott's saving just as much as I am, and he's arcing it in. I tend to overdrive if I arc it in like that. So I kind of, just me personally, I went shallow just to remind myself, hey, we're under driving this. And then we have a lot of people back here kind of saving along with us. So we were saving for a long time. So so Colton decided to go with the race strategy of use his stuff up early and then see if he can hold everyone off. I was pretty confident that I could just get him straight on the bottom, even though we wrecked me trying to pass in the same exact situation last race, which I feel really bad about. But anyways, I let him by on the outside, and then I just went back to running the inside. My line never even was really compromised here. You see, once I get closer to lap 15, I start doing the arc. But I'm still really under driving entry, just so that we can keep everything in tight shape coming off the corner. Like not getting too loose, not getting too tight, just neutral. You see, I'm really under driving entry. And when you underdrive entry, you can actually get on the throttle pretty early and just slide right up, so that's kind of nice. Yeah, so we'll go ahead. So I think lap, a couple laps later I get back past him just because his stuff is already kind of going. And I'm still saving. I was saving this whole time. And then I jumped the gun early around this lap where I'm like, okay, I think I said I'm going to go top and let's see. No, okay, maybe I waited till, okay, so I did go on lap 25, okay. I would wait a little longer than this. I would probably go till lap 30 then, because you really need to be managing your stuff. So the thing about the top is, at this point of the run, it's already faster than the bottom, but you use up more stuff. So I went for the strategy of trying to get to Scott, and I did actually. So 3 laps of running the top, I got to his bottom, and then I had 1 chance to make a stick on the bottom, make him run at top. Look how close he got to the wall. This was it. This was how close. If Scott hits the wall right here, I win the race, and that's how close it is sometimes. So really good job by him to keep it off there, keep his momentum up. Just a little bit better of a corner for me, and I think I clear him and make him have to cross over, and then maybe have a better line going into 3 and 4. Hard to say. He probably would have full cleared me even if I did clear him there. But yeah, so by the lap 30, we were both running the wall every lap. I was actually going back to the bottom a little bit just to try to save up some tire for one last push. But by then, my few laps of running the top compared to Scott have already cost me tire disadvantage. So yeah, he's going. And now that we're both running the top, he has a little more grip in his rears and his fronts, and he's able to just inch away. So now I want to show you one more thing. My race is probably already over, and then I had a moment, and I'm going to make this into a YouTube short, but my car just would not rotate coming off the corner. Magnet walls, get it off the wall, get it off the wall. Uh-oh, it was off the wall, and I turned the wheel. And somehow we merged back within about a second in hand, and we saved the car. That's crazy. Jeez. Don't take that line. That's a detour that you don't want to take. Oh my gosh. And then I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm wall ripping here. And then I somehow made it back and held off on those roasted tires from hitting the wall there. Held him off for a couple laps. I think he hit the wall on the last lap. What the heck? That was a slide and a half. Good try. And yeah, so we got second. I had pretty good long run pace. Just jumped the gun a little too early. But it's really hard to pass in that situation when everyone's been saving. So good job to Scott. Definitely qualifying is pretty important. And I think that those lines at the beginning really helped for saving tires. All right. Hope you all have a wonderful day. And I hope to see you all on the track.